digital systems. I tried that. It didn't work for me. I needed the paper. I went back to my old system. So I also like to know what's going on in the company and what the specials are. I have them at my fingertips so that I can work with people if they're excited about new products, if they're excited about the host special, if they want a particular product at 60% off. I know what months we're going to have those key things. I want to know what's going on with the company. I just simply print the monthly specials and have them in my book to look at. I love the 3-month at a glance flyer that we keep posted up on All Stars that comes off of Chef's Success, where it will show the March, April, and May specials all on one sheet. So knowing what's going on and what recipes you're excited about is really going to help you work with your hostess and prevent cancellations. So the next most important thing that you can do to prevent a cancellation is to get a guest list and mail out the invitations for your hostess. The number one reason shows cancel is people do not get their invitations out to their guests. They're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. It goes too late. She only has a few people coming that were just her key people who she could call and say, hey, I'm doing this. She gets embarrassed and she cancels her show. If within 48 hours of the booking, you can get the guest list, that show is 99% chance it's gonna hold. Because you can make sure that the invitations go out 3 weeks ahead of time. She's still excited. She still remembers why she was going to have a show. If you can get that guest list, that show's going to hold. If she says, well, I'm going to invite them by Facebook, I'm going to text my friends, you need to educate her in the fact that people still want to be personally invited. They want to know that they're really wanted at your event. So before she can tell you she's just going to Facebook people and she's just going to text them, you need to tell her the single biggest correspondence that people hold on to and touch the most is a postcard. Snail mail works. People put that postcard on their refrigerator, people put it in their purse, people put it in their day planner. They will touch that postcard approximately 12 times between now and the show. So even though we are going to Facebook, we are going to put up a banner, we are going to let people know and save the date, we're going to send you some text messages that you can forward on, the key thing to get the best show attendance is for me to send out your invitations for you. You have to own this. You have to say, if they're nervous about giving you their friends' invitation addresses and phone numbers, emails, you say, you know, I will just use this for the party. I'll work off a piece of paper and then I'll give you that piece of paper back if you're nervous about it. I promise to only use it for your show. But if you want me to create a digital file for you, if you ever have another show, I can just email it back to you. Within 5 minutes, you can update it, and then I'll be able to send them out again for you. I have been doing this quite a while, and you know that I will not use their personal information unless you want me to send them an additional information. We'll talk about it before it happens, and you can say yay or nay. Once you set this up, you are not going to have a problem with it. But you need to get out in front of it and take control, because that's what works best. And if you take away one thing today, I want you to take away this phrase, what works best. When you walk into your hostess's house and she wants to put you in the kitchen where there's not going to be enough room for the number of people, and you're not going to be able to do the station style show like you want to do it, you need to be able to look at your hostess and say, Darlene, what works best is if we set up in the dining room, living room combination where everybody can have a place to, have a station and revolve around and everything. And then we can do a shop and share at the end in the living room with everybody sitting down. What works best? She is not going to say, no, I really want to have it in the kitchen when you confidently told her what works best. So what works best is that you give me an invitation list and I get your invitations out 3 weeks ahead of time. What works best is. And you need to know the things that work best. So the next thing in reducing your show cancellations is considering dual host parties. If somebody says to you, I only have 13 people I'm inviting, and you educate her on the fact that only 30% of the people she invited are going to be able to come to her show, so she's likely to have 3 people at her show. You need to say to her, well, have you ever considered co-hosting with your sister or your mom or your best friend? We could do 2 of you at one time, and we could really, get the energy up at the show, and people won't feel pressure to buy, or you could co-host at my house. I have several people who are just going to have a few people come to their shows. I would love to have it at my house, and we'll just do all 3 of you on the same night. You want, and I do this in a very nice way, but one of my favorite show combinations is like a 60-something mom and a 30-something daughter. The mom has friends who buy wedding presents and buy gifts for their daughters, and they have a nice income, but they don't typically book a lot of shows. The younger gals are more likely to book the shows because they don't have as much money, but they can turn to their mom and say, I want that for my birthday. And the mom is happy to buy it. I love that energy between a 50-year-old mom and a 25-year-old daughter, or 60 and 30. So if I can get combinations and dual hostesses, that's another great way for the shows not to cancel. Now, 2 girlfriends are having the show, and one of the girlfriends saying, gosh, she has 7 people coming. I only have 2 people coming. Maybe I should invite some more people. Again, there's that accountability piece and a little bit of competition, and that co-hosting shows. Often they're both excited about it. They're splitting the food costs, but they don't want to disappoint each other. And so again, it is a win-win situation. And a lot of times, people work at a business where maybe people don't have time to come to a show, but after the show has happened, they go to work and they collect a lot of orders. I don't want to I will go and do a show no matter what the size is. I will. I will not tell my hostess I'm not coming because you have 2 people. I have walked into shows with 2 people and have it be an $800 show. I've walked in a show where one person and the hosts were there and then that other person signed up. You just never know. So I don't have a rule, but if I'm having trouble with attendance levels, just like we have the coupon for I'll bring the dessert if you keep your original date, you could also do a coupon where if you have 8 people at your show, you'll get blah, blah, blah from me. Look around what's in your Pampered Chef stash. You can have different prizes for different dates that you want to book. There's different ways that you can do this. I think that incentives help you bring up, if you're having a problem keeping your shows on the calendar, or if you want to get your attendance up, I think it gives you a great way to broach that subject with your hostess. But I don't necessarily think you need to do the incentive first. First, you need to make sure you have a system for tracking your potential shows. Then you have to have a host coaching system. You have to know what's exciting and what's fun and what's going to get the hostess excited so that she tells her friends. You also need to tell your hostess in a very simple way what she needs to say. She needs to tell her friends that they've got to come because Pampered Chef has just started doing these sangria and salad shows, and it's really social and really fun, and they're going to have a great time. And you need to tell her very quickly how she's going to say that and get her friends excited. Or she might tell them about the mason jar salad shows or freezer meal workshops, whatever it is that has value to that particular hostess. You're going to have to say, now you're going to have to tell your friends what your 3 favorite products are. Because if they can't come, they're going to want to order, and they want to order that bread knife that you love, or the cut and close, or the new spiralizer that you think is awesome, or the new quick slicer. So you need to know what are your favorite products. So when you're sharing that catalog with them, you're also telling them what you really love with Pampered Chef. Chances are they don't have it. And what you say you love is more important than what I say I love. That's always important. So make sure that you have that for your hostess. Okay. Also let her know that it's important for us to set our dates, for us to talk on the phone, and what works good for you. Is it best that I text you first and find out a good time for our telephone call? So a lot of times I'll sit down and I will text all my hostesses that have open shows and just have little quick messages like, oh, I need to talk to you about this. Now, when you book a show with me, I'm going to tell you point blank. You know, we're going to do a lot of texting. We're going to do a lot of emailing. I'm going to set you up on Facebook. But it is crucial that we have 3 5-minute phone calls face-to-face to make this show happen. Is that okay with you, that we actually talk to each other? There are just some things I cannot put in an email or put in a text that are going to help you have a successful show. So I'm asking your permission ahead of time for us to do something unusual, and that's actually talk on the phone. They laugh about it, but that has improved so much, me being able to get people on the telephone. They remember that I asked them if we could talk on the phone. Thank you, Cynthia Nurse, for that little tip. I know who I learned it from, and it really, really helps. So having a follow-up schedule, using the host coaching information that's on this checklist. One of my top sellers in the company, I think she's number 1 or number 2 this year, Connie Florer. She does a lot of shows, sometimes 30 shows a month. She uses this checklist with every single hostess. That makes sure everything gets covered that needs to be covered. Partner with your hostess. Make sure she understands that you're a team, that you want her to have a successful party, that you want her to get the cookware for 60% off. You know, I recently had a hostess get the manual food processor for free, the spiralizer for free, you know, and that felt so good that it wasn't even a half price item. It wasn't even a discounted thing. It was just absolutely a high dollar thing that was free for her. You know, she said, I can come back and get the little things, but I want to get the ones that are expensive with my free stuff. And so find out what your hostess wants to do. So, you know, you can ask her ahead of time, are you really interested in the half price items? Or are you really interested in the free? If you're really interested in the free, we want to pack your show with as many people so that everybody can buy according to their budget. So again, just partnering with your hostess. And then at the end, you know, you evaluate, just like we're talking about having host packets ready to give out the night of the show so that within 48 hours you can get that list, things like that. You want to ask yourself, would you have a show with you? Are you somebody who follows through? Are you somebody who makes it exciting? Do you know what's going on with the company? You know, do you make the shows fun? Do you have dynamite recipes? Do you have some of the new products to show? You don't have to have everything. Can you sell well out of the catalog if you don't have that? Have you put in the time to do a good show? So I hope that helps with cancellations. I know that having my little coupon that where I bring the dessert and I mention how I want them to keep their show in the original month that they book it has helped prevent my shows from sliding around. If you have a problem